Due to current circumstances with this whole coronavirus pandemic, I am unable to teach classes and students are obviously unable to attend. So I've had a lot of requests from my students to produce more online content, and here you have it. Any video on my channel will naturally have a postural corrective theme towards it, and this one will be focusing on core strengthening exercises in conjunction with spinal exercises, spinal extension exercises that you can practice to help improve your posture. All right, quick disclaimer, if you have any injuries, if you know you're supposed to avoid certain movements, whether that's extension exercises, back bends or twists, then you know there's certain exercises within this video that might be unsuitable for you. All right, so I personally hate it when a yoga teacher spends the first 5-10 minutes of their video speaking, so let's just get straight into it. All right, so you're gonna come to lie flat. You want the knees bent, feet and knees hip distance apart, and you want the backs of the heels just out of reach of the fingertips. Arms alongside the body, tuck the hips, and then from there, extend up, bridge. All right, so with bridge, you have the option of interlacing the hands behind the lower back and then shuffling the arms towards each other. All right, so that will give you a little bit of an opening into the chest, and that will help prop the body a little higher up. All right, make sure the knees don't drop inwards. Try and keep the feet and knees parallel to each other, and every time you exhale, try and push that little higher into the hips. Good, we're gonna hold it here for a few more breaths. Now, if you're one of my regular students and you're used to doing this particular exercise with a resistant band, then feel free to put on your resistant band and then push out. All right, let's hold it here for another 10 breaths. So we're just preparing the body for the more stronger core exercises and back bends that we have coming a little later on. Good, let's give it another 6 breaths. Try and extend a little higher into the hips. Contract into your glutes as well. 4 more breaths. Remember, this is a very good stabilizing exercise for the lower back. It's a good way to isolate the glutes. 2 more breaths. You can go to your maximum height with the hips. Good, from there, release the hands, and now slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, come to lie flat. Right, good, we'll do some mobility exercises for the lower back and hips. So bring the arms out in a crucifix position, keep the feet grounded to the mat. So drop the knees over to the left, bring it back in, and then go over to the right. Good, so almost like you're doing a windshield wiping motion with your knees. You're not holding any one particular position here, you're just flipping from one to the next. Good, last couple breaths. And then we'll up it a notch. Good, all right, let's bring the knees back to center. All right, now from here, keeping the arms in a crucifix position, bring the legs so they're parallel to the ceiling. And now you're gonna do the exact same thing. Drop the knees over towards one side, they hover above the mat, bring the knees back in and then switch. Again, you're not holding any one position here, you go from one to the next. All right, idea with this exercise is you wanna keep both arms and shoulders connected to the ground, because if either arm or shoulder pops off the floor, the exercise just isn't as effective. Again, this is a mobility exercise for the lower back, and simultaneously you'll work your core area as well. All right, we'll give it a few more breaths, and then I'll give you the option of advancing this exercise. All right, so option 1, keep doing exactly what you're doing. Second option, you're going to do this with straight legs. Now, bear in mind, the same rule applies. Keep both arms and shoulders connected to the floor. Drop the feet over and then switch. Though saying that, make sure you've got plenty of room here, because I don't. So let's just pretend I'm dropping the legs all the way out, or I could just move a little bit. All right, we'll do a few more breaths of this. And if you find this is too hard, if you can't keep both shoulders grounded, then go back to option 1. All right, 6 more breaths. Good, last 4. 2 more breaths. Good, bring the knees back in. All right, knees to the chest, hug the shins. Right, from here, you're gonna rock forward and back. Good, when you're ready, let's come through to seated. And now straight to a tabletop position. All right, so a little bit more spinal mobility work before we do more core strength. Hands shoulder width apart, knees hip distance apart. Cat and cow. All right, so as you breathe in, you're going to drop your navel to the ground, roll the shoulders back, look forward. And from there, as you exhale, flex your spine to the ceiling as you tuck the head and tailbone under. All right, continue doing this in your own time. Remember, as you breathe in, belly to the ground, shoulders back, look forward. As you exhale, flex upwards as you look downwards. Right, try and synchronize your breath to your movement here, and that way that will give your session a bit more of a meditative quality as well. So remember, as you breathe in, that's the point you're dropping the belly to the ground. As you exhale, you're flexing upwards. Let's do 6 more of these. So cat and cow was actually a spinal exercise that was given to me by a physio when I was 17 years old and I had excruciating back pain. So cat and cow I swear by to be one of the best spinal exercises that you could practice. And it's essentially the sequence of stretches that got me into yoga. Right, again, try and exaggerate each movement you do. Right, I might have lost count here. I think we have 2 more rounds. Right, inhale, belly to the floor, shoulders back, looking forward. Exhale, flex upwards. Right, last one here. Good, let's release. Right, back to neutral position. All right, for the next exercise, make sure you don't overarch into the lower back. So you're going to tuck the hips under, straight line from hips to shoulders, and use a mirror to check your form if you need to. Right, from here, you're going to extend the left leg out back, flex the toes down, and then lift that foot up. Don't lift the leg up so high that you arch into your lower back. So straight line, and then when you're ready, reach the right arm forward. All right, students that have been training with me for a while, if there's any progression on this exercise that you would like to take, go for it. Right, we're going to hold it there for another 6 breaths. Try and actively embrace, engage your core. 4 more breaths. Last 2. Good, release. Take a breather here. Right, from there, extend the right leg back. Flex the toes down, make sure your back is straight, and then when you're ready, lift the right leg up. When you're ready, extend the left hand forward. Any progressions that you might have done on the other side, remember to do here. And if this is enough for you, stay exactly where you are. All right, 6 breaths. 4 more breaths. Last 2. Good, release. Right, back to a tabletop position. Right, from here, I'm just move a little bit so you have a better view. Keeping your hips stacked above the knees. You're going to extend the arms forward so your arms straighten out. And then as you exhale, pull your chest to the floor. Good, let's give it 6 breaths here. And every time you exhale, if it doesn't irritate the shoulders, try and take your chest a little closer to the ground. 4 more breaths. Last 2. Good, release. Right, back to a neutral position. Right, let's do some side planks before we progress to some spinal extension exercises. So let's take the forearm option. If you rather do the straight arm, that option is available to you. Right, so I'm going to start on my left. So left elbow directly beneath the left shoulder. 2 options, knees bent. Bring the knees so they're level to the hips and make sure your hips and torso are facing forward. From there, lift up. Right, option 1 or 2. If you want to progress it, option 3, lift the right leg up. 6 breaths. If this is too much for you, keep the top leg down or the knees bent. Right, last 2 breaths here. Good, release and switch. Right, so make sure right elbow is directly beneath the right shoulder. And again, take whatever variation you did on the other side, knees bent or legs straight. And again, if you want to progress it, top leg up. 6 breaths. Keep the hips facing forward, don't let them spin out. 4 more breaths. Keep breathing so you can see if you can go a little higher into the hips. Last 2. Good, release. Right, let's take a quick chest stretch before we do a little bit more core work, just so you guys get a breather. Come into a position you find comfortable. If this is too much to the knees, take this option from standing. Right, palms forward, hands back, interlace. Now take the arms away from the body. Right, keep the ears back above the shoulders. If you have really tight shoulders, remember you can use a towel to get a little bit more leverage here. Right, 4 more breaths. Last 2. Good, release. Right, from here, we're going to make our way into dolphin plank. So it's been the forearms to the ground. All right, elbows under the shoulders. From here, straighten out the legs and lower the hips. You want the hips level to the shoulders. All right, if this is too much for you, take the modified option. If not, stay in regular dolphin plank. And again, my regular students, if there's any progressions on this pose that you like, feel free to take. All right, we're going to give it 10 breaths here. Again, try and embrace that core. Last 8. 6 more breaths. Last 4. Breathe it out. Last 2 breaths. Good, drop the knees. And breathe. All right, now from here, you're gonna shuffle the hips back, come to lie flat. Okay, back bends. So take the elbows under the shoulders and pull the shoulders down. Right, so in this position, you're already in a back bend. So if you feel like this is enough for you, just stay exactly where you are. If you want to progress it, lift the elbows off the floor or straighten out the arms. If this is too much for you, just drop the forearms back to the mat. Right, you can look forward here or up, preferably not down. Good, release. Right, 2 more of those. So you can keep the hands out, take them slightly closer in. If you want to go deeper, roll the shoulders down, and then from there you push upwards. Right, so this exercise will naturally counterpose all that forward rounding that you would do throughout the day, particularly at your desk, although obviously no one's at their desk now. All right, let's release. I imagine most of you are. All right, last one. You can keep the hands here or take them slightly closer in. Reel the shoulders down. And then from there, you're choosing how high you want to push or whether you want to push at all. And try not to let the hips disconnect from the floor here. And make sure the shoulders don't ride up. You're pulling them down and back. Go, release. Come to lie flat. Right. Let's reach the arms forward. I'm already out of breath. Let's reach the arms forward. Now from here, so rather than look forward, you're going to tuck the chin in and look down. From here, lift your left arm, right leg as high as I'll physically go and hold. And point the toes towards the back of the room. Good, hold it there. Alright, release. And now switch. Right arm, left leg as high as I'll physically go and hold. Good, release. Alright, we're going to do that once more each side. Left arm, right leg as high as I'll go and hold. Alright, don't worry if you don't get a lot of height here, you're still engaging the muscles across the back of the body by lifting up. Release and switch. Good, as high as you can. I know this feels super awkward. Release. Right, from here, bring the elbows in. So the elbows at a 90-degree angle relative to the shoulders and the forearms are parallel to each other. Lift everything up. And now from here, you're going to bring the feet together so your big toes touch. And now from here, push your shoulder blades towards each other and now shrug the arms down. 6 breaths. 4 more breaths. Last 2, try and lift to your maximum height. Oh, and release. Alright, and we've got 2 more sets, so don't get too comfortable. Alright, let's bring the feet together, big toes touch. Interlace the hands behind the lower back. If that's a little awkward to you, you can just grab hold of the elbows. If not, interlace the hands, straighten out the arms, and lift up once again. 6 breaths. Last 4. 2 more breaths. Try and lift to your maximum height. Oh, release. Oh. All right, I have saved the worst for last. Right, you're thinking, how could this get any worse? Right, so you're going to extend the arms out horizontally to the shoulders. Now take your feet as far out away from each other as they'll physically go. Right, you can't see all of me with my current camera angle, so just go based on my instruction. Right, so turn your palms forward and then try and rotate your thumbs to the back of the room. And now from there, lift everything up. Make sure your thumbs don't rotate forward, otherwise your arms turn in. Try and angle them to the back. Right, 6 breaths. You can take the feet a little further out away from each other. 4 more breaths. Push the shoulder blades towards each other. Right, last 2. Go to your maximum height. And release. Okay, so we'll do that straight arm chest stretch. All my regular students will be familiar with this one. So take your right arm out to the side. So you want your arm going out horizontally to your shoulder with the palm facing down. Left hand next to your chest is going to push your way onto that arm. You're going to turn your hips to face the side of the room or potentially the ceiling. That depends on your shoulder mobility. Alright, come back to center, and now you're going to switch. Alright, you can have the head rested or raised. It depends on what you personally find to be most comfortable. I find it more comfortable to have it raised. And if you want to progress it, or if you didn't do it on the other side, skip this part, but you can take that arm out and grab hold of the opposite. Good, release. Come to lie flat. Right, when we're ready, let's make our way to a tabletop position. And from here we're going to come into a downward dog. So hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and then pull back. Right, so I want you to keep your back straight here. If you have tight hamstrings and that causes your back to round, bend into the knees and then pull your chest back. Right, from here you're going to try and pull your chest towards your thighs. You want to try and pull your hips to the back of the room and you're going to push your heels down. Okay, we're going to give it 6 breaths. And then I'm going to give you the option of progressing the exercise. 4 more breaths. Feel free to pedal the heels out here. Right, last 2 breaths. Right, option 1, stay in downward dog. Option 2, you're going to come into dolphin pose. So you can come in from a tabletop position, actually it's a little easier. Forearms to the ground, tuck the toes under, lift the hips up, pull back, downward dolphin pose. Alright, same rules apply here as they do downward dog. So remember, you're pulling backwards, you're keeping your back straight, you're pulling the hips back and you're pushing your heels down. We're going to give it 10 breaths here. Any point you find this is a little too intense, again, come back into downward dog or go for child's pose instead. Alright, 6 more breaths. And remember, you can bend into the knees here if your hamstrings are just not having it. 4 more breaths. Good, last 2. And release. So I drop the knees, take a breather. Alright, from here, let's come through to seated. Apologies if my voice sounds a little off. I'm horrendously congested right now. Alright, so you're going to send the feet forward. I'm going to give you 3 options for this exercise. Again, most of my students will know this one. Only do option 1 if you have a shoulder injury, and 2 and 3 trigger it. Alright, so option 1, hands under the shoulders, fingertips face forward. So lift up through the chest, look up, tilt back. Option 1. Option 2, lift up through the hips. Try and get the hips shoulder high. Option 3, straighten out the legs. Alright, so 1, you could do with knees bent or straight. Option 2, option 3. 8 breaths. Right, if you're in option 3, or 2 or 3, try and get the hips shoulder high. Engage the neck, either look up or forward, depending on what feels most comfortable. 4 more breaths. Good, last 2. Good, drop the hips. Alright, take a deep breath. Alright, we'll finish off with a little bit of core here, or a bit more core. Alright, so these exercises, flexion exercises where you're going forward, do work the abs. You do want to counterpose it with an exercise where you get your spine into extension, otherwise you'll simply reinforce that forward rounding. Alright, we've done a lot of spinal extension exercises, so we're fine to do this. Alright, so take the hands under the knees, lean back, lift the lower legs up. Alright, options, you can keep the hands right here for support, or alternatively bring the hands to the ground. If you want to progress it, take the arms alongside the knees. If you still want to progress it and do this slowly, so it's not easy to hold, you can take the arms up and back. You still want to progress it from there, straight legs. 6 breaths. 4 more breaths. Keep your back straight. Last 2. Alright, release. Take a deep breath. Alright, 1 more core exercise and then you're finished with. You've finished today's video. This is the strongest, I'd say this is the strongest out of all the core exercises within this particular video. And again, this is fine to practice if you've done enough spinal extension exercises. Back bends essentially, alright. So you're going to tuck the hips in, or connect the lower back to the ground, pelvic tilt. And from here, you're going to lift the shoulders up, Straighten out the arms, the upper body's off the mat. And now from there, straighten out the legs with the feet high. Right, if this is too much for you, bend into the knees or keep the back of the head connected to the floor. If you want to progress it, keep the shoulders raised, keep the legs straight, and then slowly lower down. All right, just bear in mind, the lower the feet, the harder the exercise is going to get. If you still want to up it a notch, take the arms up and back. 6 breaths. Last 4. 2 more breaths. Oh, release. Right, so just rock the head side to side. Take a little bit of tension out of the neck area. Alright, so that's this exercise video done. If there's anything specifically you want me to supply in terms of content, if you want more twists, back bends, more core stability stuff, or a standard vinyasa yoga flow style video, feel free to drop me a message in you'll find all my contact details in the description box below. Anyway, so thanks for watching and stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.